Welcome to Nova METRION webinar, Inline Sims for Statistical Process Control. Please welcome Chief Technology Officer, Dr. Shai Wolfling.
Good morning to you all. In this short online webinar, I want to introduce the Nova METRION, our new inline Sims product and technology. The webinar will include a short overview of the technology, a few typical use cases, and some of the product highlights. I'm Shai Wolfling, Nova CTO, responsible for our technology development for the past 10 years. Following the press release we issued, we are happy to announce Nova's new material metrology solution, the METRION. The METRION platform is based on the technology of secondary ion mass spectrometer, or SIMS, which is widely used today in semiconductor laboratories. SIMS is used to measure complex logic and memory stacks and obtain precise depth profile of material properties. The uniqueness and innovation of the METRION is by bringing this advanced technology into the fab. This enables inline SPC in a fully automated way on 300mm production wafer. The METRION expands Nova's solution to the growing challenges of material engineering. Beyond scaling and 3D architectures, customers are introducing new materials in each new generation, and the industry increases its reliance on materials engineering to advance performance and scaling. These changes create a greater need to monitor and control advanced material and increase the demand for new measurement to precisely characterize minute changes in material properties. The usage of new methods for material engineering is reflected in the growth of both our X-ray and optical material metrology solutions. Our XPS VeraFlex tool for controlling composition and thickness of ultra-thin films has already been adopted inline by all leading device makers. The recently introduced Raman spectroscopy-based Ellipson has also been adopted by leading memory and logic customers running accurate inline measurements on production wafer. The METRION is the newest addition to Nova's material metrology portfolio, expanding our application coverage to include material composition depth profiling and expanding our technology offering to include ions as well as X-ray and optics. So, what is the SIMS technology and how does it enable obtaining precise depth profile of material composition? We use a focused ion beam to remove minute layers of the wafer. Charged ions of the extracted material, named secondary ions, are collected and analyzed by a mass spectrometer, having multiple detectors that can detect different materials in parallel. We thus get a full concentration and depth distribution of specific elements through the wafer stack at the point of the measurement. Let me give one specific example. This output graph shows the composition of a silicon germanium boron epi wafer. Boron, germanium, and silicon are detected in the epi layer. The different colors show the change in concentration of the different materials as a function of depth. This measurement can be repeated at several locations on the wafer to create a wafer map. The change in concentration as a function of depth is then uploaded to the factory host, where the data is monitored for process control. As the measurement area is very small, and as the source is contamination-free, the wafer can go back into production to continue its manufacturing process, making METRION a true inline metrology tool. Inline SIMS has a variety of high-value applications to significantly improve process control of critical steps. Here we have 3 examples: monitoring material doping concentration in the epi process, controlling the uniformity of silicon germanium deposition in nanosheet, and detecting critical contaminants in 3D NAND manufacturing. These use cases have been validated by customers, and some of them are already running in production. The first use case I will describe is monitoring the doping concentration of boron while epitaxially growing silicon germanium layers. Since very small variation in the boron concentration can impact the final device performance, METRION platform is used to qualify, monitor, and match epi chambers in the fab. During the epi process, METRION is used to control some key parameters, monitoring epi growth uniformity by tracking the germanium concentration and the ratio of germanium to boron, called the germanium fraction, measuring the dopant concentration, profile, peak concentration, and uniformity across the wafer. On the top graph, you can see an example of a single measurement of boron, germanium, and silicon concentration profile. On the bottom graph, you can see the tracking over time of the average boron concentration in the germanium fraction as being sent to the fab host for automatic SPC of the epi process. As a result of chamber qualification and matching in the fab, customer can achieve tighter process control on the challenging epi process and higher uptime to their epi chambers. The second use case is controlling the uniformity of silicon germanium deposition in nanosheet. One of the critical steps in the manufacturing of nanosheet or gate-all-around is the deposition of silicon germanium. The concentration of the germanium, and in particular its uniform deposition on each nanosheet, dramatically affects the selectivity of the following etch process and has a direct impact on the critical electrical performance of the transistor. Inline SIMS is used to monitor within layer and within wafer uniformity. On the bottom graph, you can see the germanium concentration variation across each one of the 3 individual nanosheets in one specific location. While on the top graph, you can see the uniformity of the germanium concentration across the entire wafer based on 9 measurement points. The last METRION use case I will review is contamination detection in the deposition of the word line in 3D NAND. Fluorine and chlorine, which are materials used in the deposition of the tungsten metal layer, tend to diffuse into the dielectric layer and can kill the device. With inline SIMS, customer can detect and measure the concentration of these deadly contaminants through the stack. On the top graph, you can see a METRION measurement result of the concentration profile of chlorine and fluorine, while on the bottom graph, you can see an SPC chart example of monitoring fluorine within spec over time and the beginning of a process excursion where the fluorine level increases beyond the upper control limit. Measuring these contaminants in line is critical both for improved accuracy as well as for device yield. Sending wafers to the lab takes too long to detect, putting many wafers at risk before the process excursion is detected. One key point to note before I summarize. Nova's METRION implementation is very different from a lab SIMS. The platform is fully automated, recipe-driven, 300mm wafer metrology system that seamlessly integrates into a fab workflow for wafer-level analysis. From an architecture perspective, the METRION is designed from the ground up for the production environment. This unique architecture is reflected in many key components, including contamination-free advanced source and a novel detector technology which can detect multiple materials simultaneously. The innovative architecture and differentiated component result in superior depth resolution as well as stable and repeatable measurements. The system performs the analysis on a small measurement area compatible with production wafer. Combined with state-of-the-art data analysis, the Nova METRION provides quantitative and actionable results enabling advanced process control of complex critical multi-layer films. To summarize this webinar, we are proud to launch the industry-first inline SIMS enabling SPC of material composition profiles within semiconductor production lines. The METRION is a fully automated HVM-worthy platform with unique architecture and data analytics targeted for the process control of complex 3D logic and memory stacks. The output is a high-quality, reliable, and repeatable SIMS data. The METRION is already installed and running in multiple locations, and Nova is expected to recognize revenues from this platform during 2021. Nova's METRION is the latest addition to our growing portfolio of advanced material metrology solutions, bringing better process control to our customers. This concludes today's webinar. Thank you all for attending the webinar.
Thank you for participating in the Nova METRION webinar.